This morning that when I'm with young people, I tell them our generation and those before me have done a terrible disservice to you. We are having a party, you're not invited, but you get the bill. And with that, I'm going to introduce our speaker today, Joe Coors. Let's give him a hand.
Thank you, Fred, and thank you for the opportunity to address the Jefferson County Municipal this morning. Am I getting close enough to the microphone back there? Okay. Very good.
No, actually.
No?
There, that's better.
Okay. I'll put my lips on the mic. Although Fred's been here before, so is there a health risk here? Let's see. I'm here to talk about the economy. Fred gave me a really good introduction. I'm here to talk about the American dream. I'm here to talk to you about my belief, and thank you, Sherry, for this line, America is in trouble. And I'm here to talk to you a little bit about my opponent, and you've already heard one of his faux pas referring to the Second Amendment rights of some kind. But first, Fred gave you a little bit of idea about my background. Contrary to some people's view, I did not start at the top at Coors Tech. I was a data processing programmer starting in 1973 and worked my way up into the manufacturing segment of Coors Tech, up to my elbows in alumina ceramic dust for many of those years. And I really enjoyed the creativity of making parts from scratch. Working my way up to Vice President of Corporate Quality Assurance, and then CEO and President of Coors Tech, which is now the world's largest technical ceramics company, and employing about 3,500 people, and is still headquartered here in Golden, Colorado. Of course, we have a lot of plants, and we have five in Colorado. During this time, I learned a lot of things. I got to work with people from all walks of life, all sizes, shapes, and sizes, and played sports with them. We still remember the days on the basketball court and the softball field, people that I played sports with. And so really got to rub shoulders with those folks. Learned how to manage budgets, learn how to make a profit, learn what it takes to make a decision in the real economy to grow and prosper a company like Coors Tech. Been married to my wife Gail, who is here. Gail. We will be celebrating our 50th wedding anniversary in about a month.
Wow.
Actually, I say we've been married 100 years. She's been married to me for 50, and I've been married to her for 50. We have 4 adult children, all in their 40s, which we can't believe. We have 8 grandchildren, ages 5 to 13, and really blessed with that family. The Coors family, of course, has lived in what is now Congressional District 7 for generations. My great-grandfather came to the United States as a stowaway on a boat. He wasn't caught until midway across the Atlantic. And he had to earn his keep for the rest of the trip, and then he had to pay for the debt of the trip once he landed on the shores of Baltimore. Worked his way west, and kind of the rest is history. He started the brewery, selling beer off of a horse-drawn cart up and down Clear Creek to the miners who were 100,000 miners back in those days. For those of you, well, there's nobody here that will remember that.
You might be surprised.
But the family is still trying to figure out how my great-grandfather heard about the American dream in Germany in the mid 1960s. But the family has thrived, prospered, grown because of that. And I am taking up this political activity at my ripe age of 70 because I want to see the American dream restored so that my kids, your kids, my grandkids, your grandkids can have the same opportunities that we all had when we were growing up in this great country of ours. Another example of how my opponent is out of touch. You know, by the way, you all should know that there is and I'm honored with the presence of a person who's here to track me from the other side of the equation. So I will just offer this little tidbit. How many of you received this flyer? Lots of you, okay. It is so full of holes. It's unbelievable. It would be really interesting to see how he spins his faux pas on the Vestas situation. I mean, he claims he's supporting U.S. jobs, but Vestas, as mentioned in here, is a Danish company, headquartered outside of Copenhagen. They are waiting for the tax credit to determine whether or not they're going to be laying off 184 people in Colorado. And the tax credit comes from where? It comes from your pocketbook, my pocketbook. And that's just, plus the fact that you really read in this thing, it's all big government stuff. It's all, it's so anti-Republican, it's just unbelievable. So with that, I'll just shut up on that one. What I'm here to talk about today, and if you'll forgive me, I'm going to introduce my presentation to the wise men and wise women in this group to talk about the economy and government spending. So, welcome to the graduate course of government and how Washington's spending is downgrading America's ability to survive. Where are the wise men? There was a book that was written back in 1988 that identified the wise men, and those wise men back in that era, their ways of handling tough problems was to solve them, not to point and figure and blame others for not getting something done. They were from the private sector like Wall Street. They were academics. They were from all walks of life. And back in those days, they knew how to solve problems. Why I am running, picture of my family here, give you a pretty good idea of how I feel about what's at risk. I'm concerned with the opportunities I mentioned earlier about my children and grandchildren and their careers going forward. The standard of living is no longer improving with each generation. This is sad. The median income over the last 10 years has not grown. In fact, it's actually shrunk a couple of percent. The debt to the gross domestic product is too high and threatens our future. Every dollar right now that the government spends, they have to borrow 40 cents. That's just, try to do that in your business. So how does the CEO, with my background, view the federal budget and federal spending? And how do we restore fiscal responsibility? Who controls spending? The executive branch, the House, the Senate. I put the Supreme Court in here because something very important